morning, gamers. For this train with me, we'll be discussing some horse breeds I'd like to see in SSO. This is all going to be my opinion, and you can probably tell after a few horses that I present that I have a certain preference when it comes to horse breeds. I'm not too crazy about like the sport breeds, like the horses that you would see in like dressage or show jumping. I don't know. I've just never been crazy about those horse breeds. I'm more of like a pony person. But I do have a little bit of range in this list. I thought it was important to have a little bit of diversity here and not just like every single pony ever. But let's get straight into it. The very first horse, okay, this is in no particular order, but the very first horse is my very, very favorite horse. Like, oh my gosh, so much. Once I learned about this horse, like I watched a YouTube video of some people like riding this horse in Japan. I immediately fell in love with horses and I became like horse crazy. So like this horse is very important to me. Like I said, it's there in Japan. It has been my dream for quite a while now to go to Japan, literally just to ride these horses. I mean, obviously, Japan isn't a crazy country to visit, so there'd be a lot of things to do, but like, if I were to go to Japan, I'm riding these horses. Like, maybe you know this horse. I feel like it's kind of popular. It is a native breed to Japan. It's called the Dosanko or the Hokkaido pony. They are native to Hokkaido, and they're the only native breed to Hokkaido. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right, okay, guys? I don't know Japanese. But something that's cool about these horses is that they're semi-feral and they have adapted to the very cold climate of Hokkaido. If you don't know, that's like the most northern part of Japan. It gets very cold in the winter and there's a lot of snow, and this breed is very hardy and adapt to that. They even dig through the snow to get like food during the winter, which is interesting. And traditionally they never shod the horses, so I guess that means that they never put horseshoes on the horses. It just says that's something traditionally that they didn't do, and this horse breed has been around for a while. Their temperament is calm and steady, and they're pretty sure-footed, and I find that to be very nice in a horse because I was somebody who's always fearful. It'd be nice to have a horse that could balance out my personality in a way, but they also seem to be able to have strong bonds with humans as well, so they just seem like such a kind, nice horse breed. And I'm sure that there's other horses that have these personality traits. I'm just saying, like, that's what it seems like is common among this breed, and I find that really cool. I would love to see this horse in SSO, but I highly doubt that's gonna happen. I feel like it's too niche. I feel like a lot of the horses I have on this list aren't very niche, and I have some information about each horse breed. I know too much about the Dosanko pony, so there's probably a little bit too much information for this one horse. The country of origin of the Hokkaido pony is Japan, Hokkaido. The breed has been around for about 400 years. They are a pony, so their size is 132 centimeters, 13 hands tall, or 4 feet. I feel like we can use them in SSO for like light riding, trekking, snow trekking. If we ever had like a really snowy area. Well, we do have a snowy area. It's called Dino Valley. I feel like they would be in Dino Valley. That's where it would make most sense. I feel like Dino Valley is abandoned, so I highly doubt this is ever gonna happen. And an idea for their special gait or trick is they do have like a natural gait, kind of like the Icelandics have their tolt, but it's called the Kuho, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. And the Dosanko pony is one of Japan's only 8 native breeds that is not critically endangered, so good for them. And they're absolutely adorable. I love their winter fluffy coat. Like, if you want to steal my heart, just give me a big fluffy pony and it's gone. So that's all for the Dosanko pony that I'll go into now. The next horse is a little bit of a bigger, stockier horse called the Posavak. I'm not sure. I don't pronounce that too well. But they come from Croatia/Slovenia. The breed is pretty old. It was standardized in the late 19th century, but the local base breed, I'm not gonna know how to pronounce this, the Busak, is a lot older, so it's a very old breed. Their size is about 140 to 150 centimeters, so 14 hands tall and 410 feet. They're a light, cold blood draft. I'm not sure what that means, honestly. They were used in forestry and like carriage driving, I guess, and they're calm enough for beginner riding, which I love a calm horse. I couldn't find any special gait or trick that they have, but they do look very pretty, very kind for whatever reason. And a fun fact about them is that they're still used for selective logging in floodplain forests because hooves do less ecological damage than machinery. Very interesting. You want to be ecological? Use a horse. And by the way, I should just add, I just googled all this information. I'm not a very educated equestrian at all. The last time I rode a horse was back when I was like 12. Like, don't listen to me. Don't take my word for gospel. And I apologize if I get anything wrong. Feel free to correct me in the comments as well. Like, I won't be offended. The next horse is a fluffy pony. And we saw this horse like a while ago. SSO put out a like poll on what horses we want to see in the next year, and this was one of the options. And yes, I voted for this one. So this one really could be in the game eventually, but I kind of doubt. But it's the Yakutian horse. Country of origin is Russia or Siberia. I don't really know. Don't ask me about geography. And the breed is about 800 years old, with its ancestral stock being even older. They're very cold adapted. It's a pony, 140 centimeters, so 13 hands tall, or 4'7". Riding, they're usually used for working or transport or sled pulling because they're adapted to very cold climates with a lot of snow. They don't have like a special gait or trick that I could find, but when they trot over deep snow, they must lift their knees up really high so that they like have this high knee action going on, which I think is very cute. And oh my gosh, the pictures of them are just adorable. I love them so much. And a fun fact about them is that they can survive -70 degrees Celsius outdoors with no shelter, and their winter coat is 8 centimeters thick. The next horse is a pony, yes, and this pony comes from South Korea. It is the Jeju pony. I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay, don't ask me. It's a very old breed, about 750 years old. They come from the Mongol Yuan dynasty, which I don't really know what that is. I'm sorry, but it's from the 13th century. They are a tiny pony, so about 115 centimeters tall, 11 hands high, or 3'9". Their riding style is light youth / recreational. I'm not sure what that means, but today they're mostly used for conservation, so they're not like, a sport horse or anything, usually. But I do believe that they do races on these ponies. If I'm thinking of the right one. Okay, I wrote the script a long time ago. The special gait or trick that they could have is their like natural hard pace, which is inherited from their Mongolian ancestry. And a fun fact about them is that in South Korea they are considered a natural monument, which is pretty cool. And they're very adorable, and they come in such cute colors too. The next horse, you're not gonna believe this, it's a pony. It's a pony called the Hukul pony, or the Carpathian pony. I'm not 100% sure to pronounce it because they are from Poland, Ukraine, Romania, Slovakia, so Eastern Europe. And they were first formally recognized as a breed in 1856, but they were used by the Hutsul people for centuries before then. So pretty darn old. Their size is another pony, so 130 to 145 centimeters, 12 to 14 hands tall, 4 foot 3 inches to 4 foot 9 inches. The type of riding they're used for is usually trail riding, mountain trekking, packing, or therapeutic riding. A special gait or trick for them would be colt-like ambling gait. They're also famous for this thing called the Hukul Path, which is a breed evaluation trail with up to 30 natural obstacles. It would be cool to add that into Star Stable, something like the Icelandic horse race that they have, which I literally never go on, but they have done something like that before, so they could do it again for this horse, which I think would be fun. And a fun fact about them is that they carry primitive dun markings like the dorsal stripe and zebra leg bars. I unfortunately could not find any pictures of them with that though, but apparently that's true. I do think that they're also very pretty. I don't know, they're just pretty. The next horse I would describe as majestic. Country of origin is, I'm not gonna be able to say this.
Azerbaijan.
I really don't know, I'm so sorry. But the horse breed is called the Karabakh. I don't know how to say this. I don't know how to pronounce this. I can't even pronounce English, and you want me to pronounce this? I don't know. I can't help you. The breed is extremely old. It's been documented since at least the 5th century. The 5th, just 5. That's crazy. It's considered a small horse, so not a pony, but kind of close. 145 to 157 centimeters, so 14 to 15 hands tall. 4 foot 9 inches to 5 foot 2 inches. Their riding style is usually used for mountain endurance, polo type games, racing, and dressage. So their special gait or trick that you can use is a natural hard pace and broken pace that they have, which is, I really don't know what that means. So, but I wrote it down because I feel like some people who watch this video might actually know, who know a little bit more than that. Yeah, and they can be really fast. A fun fact about them is that they are the national animal of
Azerbaijan.
And they influenced the Russian Don breed, which is another breed that's going to be on this list. But now let's move over to the United States. This horse is called the banker horse, and I've actually seen them in real life once, I'm pretty sure at least. They come from the United States, as specifically the Outer Banks or North Carolina. The breed is about 500 years old. They come from 16th century Spanish stock. They're ponies, about 130 centimeters, 12 hands tall, or 4 foot 3 inches. Their riding style, I don't know how you would describe it because they are feral horses, but when people do ride them, they use them for gentle trail riding, so nothing crazy. A special gait from them would be inherited from their Spanish ancestry, and it's called the Iberian ambling gait. A fun fact about them is that they dig sea wells in the sand for fresh groundwater, and they can ride out hurricanes by huddling on the high dunes. I just think it's an interesting breed, and I don't know if we have any breed that is, feral. I mean, it's a horse game. It's okay to ride them in a horse game because they're not real horses. Speaking in the USA, there's another horse. I think I have a few from the US actually that is very beautiful, and I think that we have some horses similar to it, but it would be nice to get this specific horse because they're just stunning, okay? They're called the Nokota horse. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly either. They're from North Dakota. The breed is about 140 years old. They were considered a small horse, 14 to 15 hands tall traditionally, but the ranch type can be up to 17 hands tall. So there's a few options for how you can translate this breed into Star Stable. Their riding style is endurance western. A special gait or trick that you can give them is called the Indian shuffle, inherited from smooth ambling gait. The fun fact about them is that they descended from Sitting Bull's Hunkpapa Lakota herd, and they were confiscated by the US Army in 1881. And they frequently come in the coat of blue roan, which I think is absolutely stunning. I feel like I haven't seen a blue roan horse in Star Stable that I really liked. If they did this type of horse, maybe they would get one. The next horse is one that I mentioned a little bit before. It's from Russia, called the Don horse. I think it's interesting to mention that this horse was actually included in some Star Stable game before. I know that there was there were Star Stable games before Star Stable Online. I don't know which one this one is from specifically, but I did see the screenshot where, okay, yeah, they did have this in Star Stable at one point in time, just not in Star Stable Online. So I think there's a pretty good chance that this horse breed can come back. This breed is pretty old. The modern type that we have today stabilized in the 19th century, but its roots go all the way back to the 18th century. The size of the horse is pretty big compared to the other ones I put on here. So 157 to 168 centimeters, so 15 to 16 hands tall, 5'2" to 5'6". Their riding style has been historically used for cavalry or endurance sport, which is now a modern usage of them, or harness driving. A special gait or trick for them would be the Kozak trick riding. That's where you vault on and off of your horse at full gallop, hanging from the saddle, picking objects off the ground while riding your horse. Like that kind of stuff would be a good trick for this horse breed because that's what people use it for. And a fun fact about the Don horse is that in 1814, Don Cossacks rode their Dons from the Russian steppe all the way to Paris, and they often come in this distinctive bronze gold metallic coat, which I think is absolutely stunning. Back to the USA again. We're heading to Idaho. Yep. And this next horse is the Nez Perce horse. I hope I'm saying that right. The breed is pretty young. It's about 30 years old because it was founded in 1995. So the size of the horse is 147 to 163 centimeters, so 14 to 16 hands tall, 4'10", 5'4". Their riding style can be endurance, trail, or just dressage. A special great gait or trick that they could have is a smooth ambling gait that they inherited from the Ekalteka, because that's part of their ancestry, which we do have that horse breeding game, so it wouldn't be that crazy. Fun fact is that this horse breed was created by the Nez Perce tribe, the Nez Perce, I'm gonna assume that's how you pronounce it, tribe, and it's an Appaloosa Ekaltekiks, and it was used to recover their horse culture after Chief Joseph 1877 surrender, often spotted and metallic sheened simultaneously, which is absolutely stunning. I love the way that they look. Let's move just a little bit in the United States to Iowa. My next breed is the Pony of Americas, and I'm starting to think that maybe this is the Yorvik pony. I'm not 100% sure, but either way, they're on the list. I want to talk about them. They were founded in 1954, so they're about 70 years old. The breed, pretty young compared to some of the other ones on here. It is a pony size, so 112 to 142 centimeters, 11 to 14 hands tall, 3'8" to 4'8". For riding, they're usually used as children's show ponies, Western, English, jumping, or trail. I can't think of any special gait or trick that they would have, but they're very versatile. So a fun fact about them is that the entire breed chases to one foundation colt, Black Hand, named for the black handprint shaped marking on his white flank. And my last breed on here is absolutely adorable, the Exmoor pony. They're from the UK. I think this is the only UK horse I included on here, but there you go. And they're one of Britain's oldest native breeds. They're primitive, and they've been present since the Bronze Age, but the modern stud book says 1820. So they're very, very old. They are pony-sized, so 11 to 12 hands tall, 118 to 127 centimeters, 3'10", to 4'3". They're very stocky and barrel-bodied. As you can see, they're fluffy and cute, and I love that. The riding they would be used for is like light riding, like trekking, conservation riding, driving. Didn't really find a special gait for them, but I do have a few fun facts. One of them not so fun. Okay, they do have this thing called an ice tail. It means that they have a thick fan of coarse hair at the dock that acts as a rain deflector, which I think is really cool because the environment that they live in is not very hospitable, some may say. Another fun fact about them is by the end of World War II, fewer than 50 purebred Exmoors remained, because during this time they used the Exmoor ponies for target practice, and then the ponies were also eaten as food during food shortages, which I think is totally crazy that they have endured so much, and they're still here. So kudos. Their breed characteristics include a distinctive mealy muzzle and toad eye with a pale fleshy rim, found in no other British breed, which I think is cute. They look absolutely adorable. Anyway, that's the end of all my lists. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if I got anything wrong, if there's any breed that you think should be added, if there's any horse that you heard about here for the first time and you're thinking, yep, that needs to be added to Star Stable right now. I'm not sure if any of these will be added to Star Stable. It would be nice if they all were, but we don't have that many star coins anyway. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.